Dublin is one of the great cities of Europe with a compact and fascinating historic center, easy to discover on foot, as you will see in our perfect day in Dublin. We'll walk down lively shopping streets, past many a pub and outdoor cafe, and into some of the parks such as St. Stephen's Green, an emerald oasis in the heart of town, and visit the campus of Trinity, the nation's oldest college, as you can see in our map route. We're taking you on a grand walk through the heart of Dublin, from Connell Street, across the River Liffey, down past Trinity College, through a network of shopping streets and over to Grafton, the main pedestrian lane, then down to St. Stephen's Green, more lively streets up to Merrion Square, and around again, over ending up at Temple Bar. With this route, we cover all the main sites in central Dublin. Distance from north to south is only a mile, easily covered in one day on foot, as we will show you now, starting out on O'Connell Street, the busy main thoroughfare, named after Daniel O'Connell, standing proud as a statue honoring this Irish leader from the 1820s. Always busy with many pedestrians passing the shops and hotels and restaurants, this street is one of the widest in Europe, with two broad pedestrian sidewalks and a tree-lined central median full of statues, with trams and buses running down the middle. This street is a mandatory stop on any visit, but it's only the tip of the iceberg of what Dublin has to offer, further south, on the other side of the River Liffey, where most of the action is concentrated. From the O'Connell Bridge, there's a view down the river towards another famous bridge. Halfpenny Bridge is one of the landmark sites of Dublin. Pedestrian footbridge. Used to cost half a penny to cross it in the old days. Now it's free. Leads right over to Temple Bar, across the River Liffey. We'll get to Temple Bar later in the show. Crossing O'Connell Bridge, we head into Westmorland Street, a short, lively block lined with sandwich bars, cafes, currency exchanges, and small shops. It becomes College Street, with many buses flying past and one of the most active pedestrian intersections in town. Just beyond, you'll see the magnificent curved facade of the Bank of Ireland, originally built in 1729 to house the Irish Parliament. Today, it's a working bank. We'll come back here later in the program for a visit inside Trinity College. A block over, we pass M.J. O'Neill, a traditional Victorian pub. And in front we meet Molly Malone, the bronze fishmonger, with her wheelbarrow of cockles and mussels, immortalized in that famous Dublin song, which you might even hear coming from nearby O'Donoghue's pub.
Cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, cry cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh.
A nearby restaurant is inside what had been a bank constructed in 1894, with preserved interior including 15-foot marble columns, carved plaster ceilings, and original stained glass skylights. Continuing along Dame Street, you'll enjoy a fine mix of pubs, sandwich joints, Italian restaurants, and bakeries, and the Millstone Restaurant, one of the longest-running steakhouses in the city center, opened in 2006. The interior keeps that feeling of the old Georgian building, with a cozy atmosphere and open kitchen, and that specialty of Irish grass-fed beef. Perhaps consider staying at the elegant Mercantile Hotel. Dame Street extends for 1 kilometer, as you see, quite wide and busy with lots of shops and restaurants, and it passes the City Hall of Dublin. Behind Dame Street, you find Dame Lane and Dame Court, narrow side passages strung with colored banners and lined with pubs. The Stag's Head opens onto Dame Court, and on a fine evening the crowd spills out the door with stand-up tables filling the cobble lane and a drink in everyone's hand. The casual, sociable street corner pub where strangers fall into conversation as friends is one of the great pleasures of Dublin, famous for its friendly and talkative people, ready to share travel tips.
Go down to Temple Bar and you'll get
Well, yeah, but this is nicer, more local. It's a great place to meet some Dubliners, where you can experience why the Irish are so famous for being friendly and talkative. Just around the corner, we get to one of my favorite streets in Dublin, lined with many different shops, clothing stores, restaurants, a French bakery famous for their macarons, with Lauderay bringing a touch of Paris to the heart of Dublin. Changing names from Exchequer to Wicklow Street, part of a network of lanes now called the Creative Quarter, a place for Dubliners to have some fun, take a break, and do a little shopping. Cornucopia Vegetarian Restaurant has been a fixture of the neighborhood since 1986. The history of the street runs deeper than the shopfront suggests. For more than 5 centuries, it was part of a single longer thoroughfare, important to that economy, later built up with Georgian and Victorian structures, housing dressmakers and tailors. Now it's mostly restaurants. You don't see many tourists on that street, which is ironic because it connects right up with Grafton, the main pedestrian boulevard for the visitors, and also quite popular with locals because it is just packed with stores and street entertainment. But no bicycle riding. Just a friendly warning. Grafton Street extends for 6 glorious blocks, lined with shops and restaurants all the way. It's a magnificent car-free promenade. There's no traffic, just the steady flow of pedestrians from morning till dark. Brown Thomas was founded in 1849 as a clothing store and has become Dublin's senior luxury department store. It has an outdoor terrace cafe on the 3rd floor that's part of their French-inspired restaurant with outdoor seating along the length of the building. M&S Food Hall is always reliable. Music can fill the air thanks to regular performances by street buskers who always appreciate any coins you might toss their way. While walking on Grafton, there are a couple of side streets you might want to duck into, like Ann Street South, with some iconic pubs, and at the end of the street, the pale stone facade of St. Anne's Church with that rose window, a fine 19th century Romanesque revival church. Then meander another block south to Duke Street with another famous pub, the Bailey, featured in James Joyce's Ulysses. Back on Grafton, you might help a friendly group add a shot to their photo collection.
Thank you, boss. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Music performance on the streets of Dublin is regulated by various rules. There had been some complaints from retailers and residents about noise and crowding, and so performers must apply for a permit and pay an annual fee. If you're using amplification, you pay an extra fee. On Grafton, performers can stay in one spot for a maximum of 1 hour, and then they have to move somewhere else, at least 100 meters away. After all of those charming storefronts, at the end of Grafton, you come upon a major shopping center with a bold, modern, curved exterior. 3 floors wrap around a central atrium covered by a barrel-vaulted glass roof, with escalators and walkways crossing the open space and natural light flooding in. It was the largest shopping center in Ireland when it opened in 1988, and still one of the biggest with around 100 shops. At the end of Grafton Street, we see a triumphal arch, a gateway to the beautiful park in the heart of Dublin. St. Stephen's Green is a real charmer with all the elements you would hope for in the perfect urban oasis. These 22 acres of St. Stephen's Green had been a swampy marsh until it first became a private park in 1678, with homes for the affluent built around it. A wall was built to keep out ordinary citizens. Abundant green lawns, 2 small ponds, scattered benches, flower beds, a fountain, ducks, geese, soaring trees, a bandstand, snack stand, locals enjoying themselves. The park was opened to the public by Parliament in 1877 and rejuvenated by a wealthy benefactor, Sir Arthur Guinness. You might get lucky and catch some music and dance. It's an outdoor party with live music and dancing and just having a great time in the gazebo. There are 2 playgrounds with that happy noise of children, and on warm days the central lawns fill with people. Office workers eating lunch, students lying flat on the grass, lounging by the fountain with benches fully occupied, encouraging quiet conversation. You might see a group of bicycle carriers relaxing on the pavement as we make our way out of the arch, leaving this beautiful park behind. At this midpoint of our walk, let's review the route we just took, starting on Connell Street and heading down into that network of lanes and along Grafton to St. Stephen's Green, and a quick preview of the rest of our walk. A 5-mile circuit ending up where we began. Continuing from St. Stephen's Green, a few blocks along Pembroke Street brings us to Matt the Thresher, a fine seafood bar and grill. This is a great spot for a lunch break with fresh fish, oysters, and a proper pint or glass of wine in a relaxed dining room, where we had a chance to speak with the owner.
My name is Jimmy Lyons. I'm the proprietor here at Matt the Thresher Seafood Bar and Grill in the centre of Georgian Dublin. We specialise in the very best of Irish seafood. We live in an island here and we have the most amazing fish in our oceans around. And it's only a small island, so and even in Dublin we have 7-8 harbours, Dublin Bay prawns, oysters, sole, halibut, just an abundance of fabulous seafood. Okay. But our original Matt the Thresher is Tipperary. It's there since 1890.
We have to make reservations?
Yeah, we're at the moment we're full every night of the week, which is brilliant. But it took us 8 years to build up that reputation now, and the country's doing well again, and it's great to see Americans back and the tourists all back. So you sit up there, Dennis, and enjoy that.
That fresh haddock with Irish potatoes and greens and some white wine was about the best meal I ever had in Ireland. They also have burgers and sandwiches at lunch with a vegetarian option. A few more steps along Pembroke Street brings us to Baggot Street Lower, cutting through the heart of Dublin's Georgian business district. It's another authentic neighborhood with very few tourists. The lunchtime trade is the dominant pattern on the street at midday. From around noon, the takeaway places run queues out the door. Chop offers grain bowls and green salads with protein and dressings. Munchies does sandwiches, paninis, and breakfast rolls. Spar Gourmet, an upscale convenience chain, has a deli counter and Insomnia Cafe concession inside. A block away, we arrive at Merrion Square with a central garden that's open to the public. They have 12 acres of lawns, flower beds, and mature trees with a wooden playground tucked in one corner for the children. It's a fine place for a stroll or sit right down on the grass, any place you please, on a fine sunny afternoon. You've noticed the weather has been beautiful on this day because I'm visiting in late May, which is an ideal time to be in Dublin. One of Ireland's greatest writers, Oscar Wilde, is honored here with a dramatic statue. Elegantly attired in a green jacket made of jade and pants of Norwegian granite, he looks sophisticated, suave, and witty, but reflecting his inner turmoil, a smile on one side and sad on the other. He lived in that White House across the street until he was 24. The square is surrounded by elegant, ivy-covered brick homes. Around the corner are the government buildings, a grand Edwardian neoclassical complex that houses the office of Ireland's Prime Minister, built in 1904. Next to that is the National Gallery of Ireland with an excellent selection from the major periods of European art history, with centuries of paintings and sculpture. They also have a very nice cafe, which is a good spot for a refreshing break before tackling the museum. The Italians are well represented by Caravaggio, Fra Angelico, Perugino, Mantegna, Titian, and others, while the French school includes Poussin, Fragonard, Claude, and a room full of Impressionists. Vermeer, Jan Steen, Frans Hals, and Ruysdael highlight the Dutch masters, while the Spanish painters include El Greco, Murillo, Zurbarán, Velázquez, and Goya. This is a world-class collection, and yet small enough that you can appreciate it in 1 or 2 hours. And admission is free. It's good to see young students getting a first-hand education in fine arts with gallery talks. There's also a large collection of Irish art tastefully presented in this beautiful building, generally open from 9 to 5 but closed on Sunday. Next door is the National Museum of Ireland's Archeology branch, with curved loggia outside and a magnificent Victorian rotunda in the interior from 1890. The building's architecture alone makes a visit worthwhile, and you'll be delighted by the treasures inside. One of the largest hoards of prehistoric gold in Western Europe, including the Bronze Age necktorks gleaming in their cases. There's a Viking wooden dish and ladle, tools they used to make them, a replica Viking boat, and the treasury room with the ecclesiastical metal objects. The museum's main floor has many display cases with descriptive labels. In 2 short blocks, you're on Dawson Street with another excellent collection of shops, restaurants, and hotels. It's one of Dublin's most attractive streets, with rows of Georgian and Victorian terraces made mostly of red brick and stone. Dublin's modern light rail tram runs right down the middle of the street. Dawson Street brings us out at Nassau Street, which runs along the south wall of Trinity College, our next main stop. Nassau Street is lined with a big variety of shops, including cafes and outdoor produce stands, with sandwiches to go, the sweater shop for cashmere and Aran knits, a variety of souvenirs available here, a great place to pick up some gifts to bring home, jewelry at Lapis, or pick up a book at Eason, or stationery next door. Then drop into O'Brien's for some gourmet coffee, smoothie, or triple-decker sandwich. Do a little browsing inside Kilkenny, famous for Irish craft and design, showcasing about 200 local artists. Nearby is the back door to the National Gallery of Art that we saw earlier. At the north end of Nassau Street, you reach Trinity College, and there is a side entrance from Nassau Street, but we'll take you in the main front gate for that classic view. Trinity College is one of the world's great schools and a leading attraction with more than 500,000 visitors each year. People come to see the graceful campus with its wonderful collection of historic buildings and gardens arranged in a harmonious setting spanning 35 acres. Founded in 1592 by Queen Elizabeth as Ireland's first university, Trinity boasts many famous graduates, including noted authors Oscar Wilde, Jonathan Swift, Samuel Beckett, Oliver Goldsmith, and Bram Stoker, author of Dracula. There is one very special item on campus everyone flocks to see, the Book of Kells, exhibited at the impressive college library. This beautiful illuminated manuscript was created in the 8th century by Irish monks who were preserving civilization's knowledge during the Dark Ages. There's a large open lawn behind the main campus buildings used for playing cricket, and a place where students gather to relax on a warm, sunny afternoon with a beverage from their pavilion bar. Trinity has about 15,000 undergraduates, along with 7,000 graduate students from a total of 120 different countries. There is a gateway at the back of campus, but we're returning to the main quadrangle for another look around, passing some of the oldest buildings on campus. Nice to see a group of high school students getting an orientation visit, perhaps inspiring them to come back here and study while enjoying that social life and the culture of Dublin. During the summer, travelers are welcome to rent a room in the dormitory for prices ranging from $100 to $300 a night, depending on accommodations, providing an excellent central location. From the peaceful tranquility of the Trinity College campus, we head out the front door onto the major street called College Green, one of the busiest bus intersections in the country, as we saw earlier with the impressive Bank of Ireland and some unusual tour vehicles going through. We are now walking a couple of blocks over to what is probably the most popular tourist attraction in the city, Temple Bar, a major gathering place for Irish music, eating, drinking, and having a great time. Known for traditional music's lively nightlife, many pubs, enticing restaurants, and artistic vibe. In fair weather, you will see thousands of people out on the streets, standing or sitting on the pavement with a pint in hand, having a grand time. The sidewalks are mobbed and the pubs are packed. Sure, it can get a little rowdy and noisy with all that Guinness flowing, but don't worry, this area is very safe night and day, with people out just to have a good time. It is one big street party. It is true that not many locals come to hang out at Temple Bar, partly because the beer is more expensive. It could cost up to €10 for a pint, compared to about €6 in the rest of the city. But here we've got that fun atmosphere and lots of music that attracts the visitors. So don't avoid Temple Bar just because you think it might be a tourist trap. You don't have to spend any money, just come and walk around and listen to some of the music spilling out of the pubs. But you'll certainly want to go inside, have a drink, and enjoy this happy experience. I have a longer video that's all about Temple Bar you can find in my collection, along with dozens of other videos about Ireland. Temple Bar is easy to reach from these other main parts of town, only about a 15-minute walk at most. Now we complete our walk to Henry Street, north of the river, then back to O'Connell Street to wrap it up where we began. It's easy to leave Temple Bar by crossing Halfpenny Bridge and then walking right up Liffey Street, which has a mix of small independent shops, a camera center, music store, a barber. We are no longer in a touristic district. This is definitely a local kind of place. Ordinary shops for regular people. You probably don't want to try on a business suit or purchase any household items, but there are a few shops along the way that might catch your fancy. Chocolate shop, the cafes, the health food store, convenience shops, and it will lead you directly to Henry Street, which is one of the two principal shopping streets of Dublin, the other being Grafton Street we saw earlier. The difference here is that Henry is pretty much for local shoppers. It's an everyday, value-oriented place to spend your money for shoppers doing ordinary retail. There's a lot of small independent shops here, as well as Ireland's largest department store, Arnott's, which is more than 175 years old. With more than 200 stores, this is Dublin's busiest shopping district. For the adventurous visitor with some time, it could be fun to take a walk here and stroll along with the locals. While the shops are modern, there's a traditional outdoor market on the crossing with Moore Street that has been trading here since the 1700s. In contrast with those funky shops behind, Henry Street was established in the early 1800s, and it's been pedestrianized since the 1980s. Here's where it ends at O'Connell Street, the city's main boulevard, with a stainless steel monument at the crossing, and another monument at Merrion Square a few blocks further north. Connell Street is like the Broadway or Fifth Avenue of Dublin. It had been the main street for many, many years, and it is still a wonderful place to walk around. Especially now, the tram service is coming down O'Connell Street and rejuvenating this entire neighborhood. It's a grand old boulevard with wide sidewalks and lined with important historic monuments. The most famous building on O'Connell Street is the grand neoclassical facade of the General Post Office. There are still bullet holes in the columns because it played a role in the Irish Rebellion against the British during the Easter Rising of 1916, when a small band of Irish freedom fighters made it their headquarters and fortress. The main hall is still a working post office with some exhibits about the uprising. We end our visit at the O'Connell Street Bridge, where we began our walk this morning, reflecting back on this perfect day in Dublin. Tune in some other time and we'll take you on a bus tour through the city. And be sure to look for our many other movies about Ireland in our collection. Thanks for watching. We frequently upload new movies, so please subscribe to our channel and click that little alarm bell so you'll be notified. And if you enjoyed the movie, how about a thumbs up? And we always welcome comments down below. Or if you have questions about the destination, make note and we'll answer them.